Who would ever have imagined that David Lynch would make a G-rated film released by the Disney company? Well, he has. The Straight Story.
Rosie, I've got to go see Lyle. And I've got to make this trip on my own. I know you understand.
I guess so.
73-year-old Alvin Straight, Richard Farnsworth, lives with his daughter, Sissy Spacek, in the small town of Laurens, Iowa, in the heart of America's Corn Belt. Alvin has a bad hip and poor eyesight, but when he hears his older brother Lyle, who lives 300 miles away in Mount Zion, Wisconsin, has had a stroke, he's determined to visit him and end the feud between them. He's not allowed to drive, so he does the next best thing. He travels by lawnmower. At first sight, this is a radical departure for director David Lynch. Where is the creepiness, the menace of Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, and Lost Highway? But as the indefatigable Alvin travels at a snail's pace through Middle America, in what must be the slowest road movie ever made, Lynchian elements do appear. The characters we meet in these small towns and villages and on the road all exhibit a dark side. Not everything is apple pie. Richard Farnsworth is quite wonderful as Alvin, but the equal star of the film is 80-year-old cinematographer Freddie Francis, whose scope photography is one of the film's major pleasures. It's a gem of a movie, one that richly rewards the patience of the audience. Margaret.
It is a gem, isn't it? And it looks so splendid. I mean, this is one of those films, don't wait for the video, you've got to see it on the big screen. Yeah. But it's sort of like, it really is so un-Lynchian because for me it sees America through rose-coloured glasses. You know, everybody is nice.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
It's funny that we see this film in a different way because I do see him as almost a Christ figure. Everybody he touches is gentle, kind, supportive, wonderful to him, and anything that he can change in a good way, he does. It's
well, that's an interesting interpretation too.
It's a beautiful.
I think there's more going on beneath the surface of this film than you think.
Well, maybe. You'd think so with Lynch. It's 4.5 stars for me.
And for me too, 4.5.
When my kids were real little, I used to play a game with them. I'd give each one of them a stick, and one for each one of them. And I'd say, you break that. Of course they could, real easy. Then I'd say, tie them sticks in a bundle and try to break that. Of course they couldn't. Then I'd say, that bundle, that's family.
No wonder he was nominated for an Oscar. Well, we spoke to David Lynch in Cannes last year about his attraction to this true-life two-stroke odyssey.
You know, you get to know a man's life, and over a period of, the last 73 years, from when he was little, through the war, to his children and his wife, many people have these same experiences or similar experiences, and that you start reflecting as an old person upon them.
You are 73 years old, Dad, and I cannot drive you there.
Rose, darling, I'm not dead yet.
To me, this is an uplifting story in the Midwest. We wanted to go with the weather. We start out, quite warm and in flat territory, and we move to cooler, more hilly land, cross the Mississippi in the fall, and hoping we get through before it goes below zero and starts snowing. And I think it snowed just a week or two after we finished filming. So we sort of just made it under the wire.
I'm a Netto with Alvin, and he's driving his lawnmower. Alvin! What are you sitting out to do here? That's why I am! Alvin, you're gonna get blown off the road, that's what I'm afraid.
You'll never make it past the grotto.
You're working again with Freddie Francis. How does that relationship work? Why do you use him so often?
I love Freddie since The Elephant Man, and we wanted to work together again. He's, considered a master of light, and he's 80 years old. He went so well with the feeling of this film, and I say because he's old, he's slow, and this is a slow movie, but he really outlasted his crew in many cases.
I appreciate that you boys have done some real time on this, but of course a man's got to ask when he's working with twins, especially a bickering pair, how much working was fighting?
It's hard to imagine the film without Richard Farnsworth.
I never, as I've said before, seen a better example of a person being born to play a certain role. And I always was amazed at the soul of Richard, coming out. And I always think of him in other films where you just see him and you like him. And but I was just amazed at what a great actor he is, because he makes it real as it's happening, and he lives the words. He lives it. I don't know what will come around the corner, and you never know. But I really enjoyed making this film.